The US and Israel launched an operation against the Iranian regime around 22 days ago. They struck and destroyed most of the regime's nuclear system, missile defense system, navy, and air force. At this point, most armies would have surrendered, but this regime does not have a white flag. Now, why is that? Do they really think that they can resist the American army forever? I want to share with you a theory from Dr. Mordechai Kedar. He explains how a country fighting will try the best to fight the least possible fronts it can. If a country can fight one front, that's a lot better than fighting 5 fronts. They've got a way higher chance of winning. The more fronts it's fighting, the harder it is going to be to win. But Iran are launching not just on Israel and the US. They have started a war with many countries in the Middle East, including UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, and Jordan. And even Qatar was supposed to be friends with Iran. They share the world's largest natural gas field. Despite that, Qatar have been attacked by Iran. Now, they've received evacuation notices, even for the capital, Doha, from Iran, as well as 2 NATO countries, Turkey and Cyprus. They've also been attacked by Iran. Why on earth is Iran trying to make this as big as possible? They have enough enemies. They've already got the US and Israel as enemies. Why are they trying to gain more enemies? In fact, they've even closed the Strait of Hormuz, which 20 to 30% of the world trading oil goes through. They've even bombed several oil sites in the UAE, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, and Bahrain. This is obviously making the US more and more angry. What is the logic to that? This is the furthest thing from logical for the Iranian regime to do right now. So why are these mullahs doing this? Towards the beginning of the war, many people said perhaps Iran wanted all these countries, especially the ones that are being attacked, to run to Trump and beg him to end the war. But surprisingly enough, that did not happen. These countries have been suffering. They've been receiving a tremendous blow. Iran has launched far more missiles and drones at the Arab countries than they have at Israel. In order to understand why the Iranian regime have done what they have done, we have to think in the way that the mullahs think. Islam is split into 2 main groups, the Sunnis and the Shiites. The Iranian regime are the Shiites, and they believe that following Muhammad's death 1400 years ago, there were 12 generations of imams who were divinely appointed. The 12th imam, known as the Mahdi, lived around 1100 years ago. He did not die. He went hiding into a cave. They believe that it could be somewhere in Iran. And they believe he's still alive today, waiting to be revealed to the world at the appropriate time. This is the belief of the Shiites. And there's also a concept within Islam, which is Al-Islam ya'lu wa'lu ya'lai. Islam is superior and nothing is above it. No one can tell them what to do. And especially not the Americans, the wine drinkers, and the pork eaters. What audacity do these Westerners have to tell the mullahs what they can or can't do, or what weapons they can or can't have, or what nuclears they can or can't have? And back to the Mahdi for a second. One of the ways that he could return is when the world is full of blood, murder, chaos, absolutely no rules. And then Allah, which is their God, will have no choice but to reveal this hidden Mahdi back to the world. And this is exactly what they're doing. Sending missiles everywhere, blocking the Strait of Hormuz, angering Trump, and even killing 40,000 of their own people. Trying to turn the world into absolute chaos. They believe that this is their mission. We must understand their side in order so we can deal with it effectively. They will sacrifice their own army. They'll even kill their own people, like we've seen in the past couple months. In their mind, the worse the situation is, the better the situation is. They will never surrender, especially not to America, who eats pork and drinks wine. This is why the Iranian regime is creating so much havoc and multiplying the enemies tremendously more than necessary. But in order to collapse this regime, we cannot just fight it from the air. From the air, the US and Israel has done a lot. They destroyed Iran's nuclear system, missile defense system, navy, air force. But toppling the regime must be done from the ground. You can't collapse them from the air. Because the regime doesn't need an air force, or nuclear weapons, or a navy. In order to stay in power, all they need is AK-47s in the hand of the police. As long as they have that and they are united, the regime can remain in power. In order for this regime to be toppled, it must be done from the ground internally to destroy the police force. But it's not as simple as people make it out to be. There is no single Iranian nation. The people of Iran are split into many, many different ethnic groups. You have the Persians, the Arabs, the Kurds, the Uzbekistan, the Baluchis, and many, many more. Now, the two most powerful minorities are the Baluchis and the Kurds. Why? Because they have brothers from their own nation on the other side of the Iranian borders. The Kurds make up around 10% of Iran, and they are connected to the Kurds of Iraq. Baluchis, the same thing. They connected to the Baluchis of Pakistan and Afghanistan. In order for them to rise up against the nation, this can be done by the US supplying them with aid, with medication, with weapons, and obviously air support from above. And that will change everything. The West keeps looking at Iran like it's a normal state, but if the assumptions are wrong, then the strategy will be wrong too, because this isn't just a military conflict. It's a clash of completely different ways of thinking. And until that is understood, nothing is really going to change. Like and subscribe to see more videos like this, while I'll take you into a deep insight into the current tensions going on in the Middle East.